Okay, and we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Grace. My name is Jonna, but my friends know me by Grace. Okay, so if you are new to this channel or if you're new to Conversations with Grace, this is a place where we answer questions that women have submitted to us concerning their relationships, and they have shared some intimate details of their lives concerning shame or whatever the topic is that week or that season. Now, everything concerning Conversations with Grace is anonymous as far as the women who have submitted their questions. I don't even remember. After a question comes in, I always hide that person's identity from even myself. So I don't know who these the picture of the women anymore because I deleted. So we just do that so we can make them to feel comfortable and to have the identities to be anonymous from the people who are watching. So right now I'm about to go to my page on Let's Get Married, and I'm going to be sharing it inside of the group real quick before we get started. Let's go to groups. Okay. And so it is shared right now in our group. And I will be going to the group and I will be pinning it to the top. Okay. And hold on. I'm pinning it to the top. And make sure I can hear myself. Okay, I can hear it. And oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, I can hear it. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, I also want to do something real quick. Ooh, uh-oh. Let me see. Okay, I don't know. I didn't mean to do this, but join us as we answer some of your questions. Okay. All right. And also, before we get started, you all, if y'all have not participated with our live therapy, which is really just talk therapy, never let that take any place of your professional therapy. It's just it's girl talk, an opportunity to vent and get some good face-to-face advice, y'all. Don't let this stop y'all from going to y'all professional therapy sessions, but join it, because sometimes a friend need to listen to a friend. Okay, sometimes we just need a friend, someone who is willing to listen to us, right, and just hear us out, and then give some advice from there. So anyway, we're going to get straight into it. You all, thank you so much for submitting your questions. We do this every week, but today we're going to start with shame. I wanted us to talk about shame because a lot of people in this group, they have shame about a lot of different things. And to be honest, I just want to let y'all know that y'all have shame in a lot of the same areas. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. So just know that you're not suffering by yourself, and you're not the only person going through what you're going through. So we're going to start it off. This is the topic. So it's like stonewalling versus confrontation, right? And I have just a little subtitle. Let me see. Okay, a little subtitle. It's how can a couple with opposite conflict styles overcome their differences? That's the question. How can a couple with opposite conflict styles overcome their differences? Okay. And so let me give y'all an example, or the example of this question. The person said, my wife is a stonewaller and I am a confronter. I am loud when I'm angry and mean when I'm mad. She is silent and cold when she is angry. Her triggers are confrontation and perceived hostility. Wow. Mine are withdrawal and abandonment. It's like we are two caged cats in a large room, and each of us has a key to the other one's cage. When we are good, we are great. When one of us opens the other cage with the intent to do harm, it is like a total disaster. How can we overcome this, or can we? Now, look, whoever wrote this, that was an amazing, amazing question. And so this is, she said it's her wife. This is women only group. So you all know this is y'all know this type of relationship. This is something that I dealt with. I am like you. Well, I'm more like you. I'm very outspoken. I don't run from confrontation. I'm a type of person who want to resolve conflict. So if there's an issue, I'm going to come to you with it. I don't do that whole silent treatment thing, right? My husband is the exact opposite. So my husband is just like your wife when it comes to that. He is the exact. And at first, it bothered me so bad. Like, it made me want to. Ooh, sometimes I would act just like you. It made me so much angry that you're not talking to me when I want an answer. And so, what happened to me in my relationship was the Lord was like, you need to let him go through his process. If he wants to be mad at you right now, if he doesn't want to talk to you, if he basically he wants to be angry. He wants to be silent, and he wants you to know he mad. He don't want you to have the control to say, we're going to settle this right now. Like, you're the type of person like me. No, we're going to settle this right now. And then he's the type of person like your wife. Who are you talking to? You can talk all you want. And this is what she's saying on. It's like, you can talk all you want, but I'll settle this when I'm good and ready. And I'm going to be quiet while you're doing all of that chitter chatter. So to help you, just like it helped me, let her go through her process. Let her be cold. And I know that you don't like to feel like she's just not paying attention to you or talking to you or whatever the case may be, but that's her process. And the more you keep trying to peck, 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 the more you're going to cause her to stop talking to you. But just let her stop talking. Show her something different this time. Show her that you're changing the way you've been doing things. So before, she already know. This is how she knows. She know that if she's silent, she know that's gonna make you mad. So how about the next time this happens, you do something totally opposite. Totally opposite, to where you're not even letting her know that you care that she's silent. When I did this in the earlier days of my marriage. When I realized that that was my husband's way of gaining control, the silence, because that's just a form of control, right? Or manipulation. But that don't work no more on me. What I did, I would go hang out with my mom, or I would go hang out with a friend. I would go get not even go over there talking about the situation. I would not give the situation no more life, because many times it really be small stuff, right? But you got to learn how to control your own emotions. And the thing is, they want to be able to also control you with that, right? You want to be able to control her, just like I wanted to be able to control him with, you gonna talk to me, you gonna talk to me. No, and everybody who's trying to control each other, it was not working, right? Stonewalling and yelling at people, that's a form of control. So you got to say, you know what? I can't control you, but I can control me. So what am I going to do when you're stonewalling me? I'm going to go talk to the person, my friend, my mom, my pastor, or if y'all close, my mentor. I'm going to go to the person who want to talk to me, and we're not going to talk about you at all. We're going to have fun. So that is a way that you can overcome that difference. Not give it life. Let them have their process. And then as you continue doing that, they're going to realize that stonewalling is not working, period. It's not working at all. So that's how you overcome those differences. And there was one other thing that you wanted to add to this. It was something that you were ashamed of. And you said that you were ashamed of sleeping with your sister's boyfriend while you were visiting her in North Carolina. Okay. Look, that's a new one. You see, I I don't read all of these before I put them up here. Sleeping with your sister boyfriend while you was visiting her in North Carolina. I don't necessarily know how that happened, right? But don't do it again. Did you ever tell your sister? That's something that you don't want to tell her. I don't know how you would share something like that. But what I would say is be prepared for her to be angry. I don't necessarily like holding stuff like that. Now, if I'm your friend and you confided in me, I can hold that. But something that I did personally, you know, that type of form of betrayal, in order for myself to get free from continuing to feel ashamed about that, is to admit my guilt, right? And be okay with the consequences, right? Forgive yourself, admit your guilt, forgive yourself, ask her for forgiveness, but also be prepared if she is not willing to forgive you, and accept the fact that she may never forgive you, and then allow her to have her own process. That's truly all I can say about that one. And so our next one is dealing with lies. Okay. Dealing with lies. So the question is, what to do when your partner lies and becomes defensive when confronted? What to do when your partner lies and becomes defensive when confronted? So the example that we have is, my partner is lying to me, but gets angry and defensive when I approach the subject. What shall I do? My partner is lying to me, but gets angry and defensive when I approach the subject. What shall I do? Now, it depends, right? Because what are they lying about? That's my question. What are they lying about? What you think they're lying about? Now, if they're lying about another woman and you know they're lying, like I tell everybody else, if you're not married to this person, you know this person lying. You go, just leave. But say it's not something as serious as that. Say it's just like, say it's they said they were going to go get coffee, but they actually went and got something to eat instead. I don't know. If it's something small, you know, I can see how that's irritating, right? But that would not be a make it or break it thing. You know, I would just say, don't confront them with why you lying. Just talk to them about what you know they're doing. Or are you about to go get some? You about to, oh, so you said you're gonna get some coffee, but you're probably really going to Chili's, right? You know, you probably really going to get some eat. I don't know exactly what they was lying about. So that really determines how you deal with this, right? If it's something real petty, that can be irritating, but it can also get dealt with, right? Dealt with better. If it's something huge like infidelity, I'm gonna always say leave, especially if you lying about it. Because if you lying about infidelity, then you're not ready to let that go, right? It's the difference between someone who's trying to let it go and they want another chance versus someone who won't even admit it. That means they're still trying to hold on to what they're doing. And I wouldn't put up with that. But so I can't really answer this completely because I don't know the situation or what they're lying about. Lying is not cool at all. I do not like lying. But if it's something petty and you know they're gonna lie, just don't even ask. Don't even ask. And if you know that you're going to stay with them, regardless if they lie, don't ask or stop caring that they lying. Unless you're going to do something like leave or say you period. If you're going to leave or whatever, then, and if it's not big, just don't ask if you're going to stay with them. But if you're not going to stay with them, give them a chance to come forward, or give them a chance to change. And if they choose not to change, like I say, leave. And then so one other thing you wanted to add with this is something that you feel ashamed about, and it is putting up with a liar. So yeah, you feel ashamed because you know this has been going on too long. And now basically this is telling me that you've been dealing with this too long. You really know that you should go. if you feel ashamed about it, that means this is not the first time hearing that you probably need to leave a situation and you just don't know how to let go. So I definitely understand you feeling ashamed about this. And you're probably feeling ashamed because you probably keep complaining to your friends about the situation, or your mom or your sister or whatever. And they probably like, why you keep on asking me or talking about this person? I told you to leave. I can definitely, I'm not trying to put no words in your mouth, but I'm just trying to let you know how I can understand why you feel ashamed about that. Okay. And so the next one is dealing with reoccurring relationship patterns. So this is, why do I keep finding the same type of men in my relationships? Why do I keep finding the same type of men in my relationships? I think this is just like a statement or something. Let me see what you were saying concerning this. Um, ooh, is this the long one? Let me see. I think this is the one about okay, so this is pretty long, you all. Um it says you're ashamed. I don't know what it is. We're gonna go back to that one because I think I know what this is. Oh no. This is a question. But what is the example? I tell you. Um I don't know. I really don't know what the example is. We're gonna have to move on from that one. We'll come back. I'm sorry about that one, y'all. I don't know what that one is. Um, oh, I think that's really the question. That's probably why I wasn't up there. But I think that was the question. I'm sorry. That's probably why there was nothing else up there. But it's something in you. That was the question. I'm sorry, y'all. That was the question. That's why I couldn't find nothing extra, because that was the question. But why do you keep finding the same type of men? There is something in you that is pulling that same type of man towards you. It's something already inside of you. And let me give you an example. You might be a needy person. You might be a woman who wants a man to just take care of them. Right? You want a man to take care of you. You don't want to have nothing. You want a man who will just pay for everything, right? And there might be a man who wants a woman just like you. I can pay for everything, but I know this woman, I want a woman who I can control. I want a woman who don't got nothing. And so I need this woman to not have nothing because I need her to completely be able to rely on me, right? I don't want her to have no money. I don't want her to have no family. I want her to be completely isolated. And so you want to go to a man because you ain't got no family. You don't want to go to him. I mean, you want to go to a man because you don't have no friends. You want to go to a man because you're lonely. You don't have no money. And so this is like prey predator type thing. You're looking for somebody who can love you and take care of you, but they're looking for somebody that can control and dominate. Right. And you put yourself in a situation that you can be controlled, manipulated, and dominated. You've isolated yourself from family. You don't have no friends and you don't have no income, yet you want somebody to take complete care of you. Right. You don't want to really bring anything to the table. And when I mean anything, I'm talking about like virtue, right? You don't want to bring security. You don't want to be secure in your own self. You want to find your security in someone else. So there are men who are looking for women who want the woman to find security in them. And that's exactly an example of how you can keep on finding the same type of man. That's just one example. And I'm not saying that that's your situation, but it's like a puzzle piece. Prey versus predator. You fit what that vicious man is looking for. And so what I would say in a situation is like that is don't isolate yourself from family, don't isolate yourself from friends, and don't just be looking for a man to take care of you financially. Don't do that because you put yourself in a very bad situation. So next thing we're going to do is go straight to stories of shame. Stories of shame. I'm gonna tell y'all why. I usually would put this together with questions, but there were women who were submitting their answers to the questions, but they didn't have questions. They just wanted to release their shame. They just wanted to release their shame. And I wanted to talk about shame specifically because I would see, like I said before, I would see women saying the same thing, like literally back to back to back to back to back about stuff they were feeling ashamed about. And I would say, you know what? I'm gonna take this to the group because one thing, I didn't want to keep answering the same question. I put this in a group and I was like, ladies who are married, please reassure the women who are not married that there's nothing to be ashamed about, that you're not married yet. And so that was supposed to be a positive message because you shouldn't be ashamed that you're not yet married. Some people, actually, a lot of people got married before their time, right? Some people got married right on time, but a lot of people got married before their time, and later on in life they become suffering for that. And so a few people really didn't understand that, but the ones who felt ashamed, they understood it. And I understand you as well. So that's why I just want to focus on shame today. And one of the first ones we're going to start with is endangering my children. Endangering my children. So it is starts off like this: a mother's regret over knowingly putting her children in danger by sending them to a car parked across a busy street. So let's see what she said. Um, and let me see. She said, one time I sent my kids out to the car. They were 5 and 4, and they would go out and then back in, like go back outside and then come back inside. So I yelled, get in the car. The doors are open. What is the problem? I thought the car was in the driveway. Oh, wow. I didn't know their dad had parked it across a busy street and the doors were open. But we lived on a pretty busy street right up from the street from a strip of frats and sororities. I put them in danger and I will never forgive myself. Wow. And so I'm glad we're talking about that. I understand the fear that came over you when you did something like that. It was an accident. I don't want you to be beating yourself up because you did that. That was terrible. I would have hated if I'd done it too. Listen, my son, when he was 2 years old, I don't even know if I should be sharing this, but I want you to get to know me. I want you to know that I understand you. You could not. I live on a busy street as well, and I know this now. But somebody like I took my eyes off of him 2 seconds. He was right up by the mailbox, and somebody pulled over. I was embarrassed. They pulled over in my street, and it's like, "There's your son," and I was like, but it was and it only takes 2 seconds. But now I learned, I hated that happened. I felt so bad and I felt so hurt that it was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know at that time. He was younger and he usually doesn't get in the street. I usually don't take my eyes off him at all. But one time, that was only when I had one child. I don't do it again. I don't do it again because God saved him for a reason. These moments that happen like this is so that you can be afraid. It's so that it can put a fear in you, a fear, not so that you can just walk around afraid, but a fear that will cause you to change the way you walk, a fear that will cause you to change the way you move. Now, to make sure you communicate with your husband. Where is the car? Where is the car? And to make sure, don't just tell your children to go to the car. Right? Look at them as they go to the car and make sure that they're buckled in. So these things happen just so that you can change the way you move. But forgive yourself. Forgive yourself so you can move on. And just thank God. I'm going to tell you, that's how you're going to fight that fear that's trying to suffocate the joy. Because what you really should be doing is rejoicing that they're alive. But that fear that's inside of you, it won't even let you rejoice, right? It won't let you. But instead of being fearful, every time that fear come up, every time that regret come up, just say thank you, Lord, for saving my children. Keep on saying that, and I bet you that regret is going to move to the side. And so we're done with that one. The next thing is it's about living in poverty and abuse. So it's about a woman who struggles with poverty emotionally, physically, and who deals with a racist and bitter spouse. Let us see what she said. Now, okay, mm, mm, okay, I think this is the one right here. Um, Hopefully this is it. Yeah. It's long, y'all. It says you're ashamed that you have never been able to make a living wage and you have lived a life of extreme poverty unless married. Oh wow. Including going to work with holes in your shoes, not having enough food for your children when they were young, having been married twice. I find myself very stressful and confining. And I have endured emotional and physical abuse. Having health issues limits your ability to be financially independent. You fight hard to be healthy, and recently you underwent surgery and was advised by a surgeon that it was worse than what you thought, and that it was good that you had surgery when you did, and you because it could have turned into cancer. Um, and you said you'll be going, under more tests in a month, or you did, and it confirmed there was no cancer current. Your husband stopped drinking, so he is no longer physically abusive and he is doing much better, but he cannot handle any type of change. He has extreme social anxiety and road rage, so it's very confining. Even going to the grocery store is a miserable experience. I would love to move to a home that is more conductive to my health issues and to be able to even go on a short vacation. However, your spouse has a great deal of bitterness and anger. And after 2020, he decided to become an extreme racist. He cannot stand to see anyone of another race and becomes very angry and nasty. His behavior is horrible and traumatizing, like of a change. He has extreme social anxiety. Um, okay, so that's pretty much it. That's a lot. I mean, that's very tough to deal with. That is very, very, very tough to deal with. Um, when it comes to something like that, like you said, like you're in extreme poverty unless you're married. So you could, just like I answered this question earlier, you could see yourself gravitating to men who have money but terrible character because of your extreme or escapism. You want to escape poverty, so you might go to the only person who might be willing to, and I'm sorry, y'all, my child's in the background, but who might be willing to deal with somebody like you. Instead of you dealing with the poverty before marriage, you want to deal with the poverty in marriage, thinking that that will save you. But then you go to a man who is impoverished in love. He's not wealthy in love. So so it's still poverty meets poverty. Even though he is able to support you financially, he's not able to support you emotionally because you still met poverty. And so you've got to get rid of that poverty mindset, but that's easier said than done, right? So certain things that I like to advise with situations like this, you got to get to support groups. Sometimes it's women who are going through the same thing as you, but not just them, right? It's also women who have gone through what you went through and they came out on the other side, right? They were able to see light at the end of the tunnel. So there are support groups around to help you. And then before that, I'm going to always say pray. Pray. When I began to get around some praying women, because I said enough is enough, I no longer want to go around this same mountain that I've been going around. My life changed. And I began to walk in a new authority. And I began to help other people walk through that same authority as they do the things that I did, as I listen. And so you got to be willing to say, there is a way out of this. There is a way. You got to speak life into yourself. But you may not know how to do that at this moment. So, like I said, go around people who know how to speak life. Listen to motivational messages. Go to different podcasts that encourage women who are in situations like you. Get encouraged. If you can't encourage yourself, find other people who can encourage you. If you can't find a support group yet, go somewhere on YouTube where someone is empowering women, where someone, especially domestic abuse, because this is what it kind of sounds like. You say he's getting better, so it may have been some domestic emotional abuse before, but still, you can still get in those groups because it could convert back to the same thing. And then you say he's become extremely racist. It's a lot going on with this. So you need support. You need lots of prayer, but you also need support groups. So the next one is talking about dating a known cheater. And the question is, or the statement is, navigating a long term relationship with a man known to be involved with another woman. And so as I paused, I remembered what you had said earlier. You said that you're ashamed that you're dating a man that most people know in your town that has another woman that he's been seeing for 16 years, that you have been seeing him for 15 or 16 years. It says that he's been seeing for 16 years, that have been seeing him 15 years, but I want for nothing. I just got laid off. So is this man, is he married to another woman? Okay, so you've been dealing with a man. He been with one woman for 16 years, and you've been with him for 15 years, and you saying, but you want for nothing. So you looking at what he can give you. That's why you saying something like this. And then because you mentioned, and you just got laid off. So you're with him because he's providing for you financially, is what it sounds like. But you're ashamed of it because you know that this is beneath you. And so with that, it's beneath you. I don't know if this other woman is his wife, but he been with, look, I was gonna say been playing both of y'all, because the same way you know about her, she know about you. He been with both of y'all for a long time, been playing both of y'all for a long time. You know, you say you want for nothing. If you want for nothing, I'm pretty sure she wants for nothing. As far as what you see, or as far as what you're saying. But to mention the fact that you just got laid off, that just shows that the only reason you are staying with him is because he's giving you money. But I mean, that's what, if you gonna do something, don't have no shame in it. If you gonna do something like that, own what you doing. Because what's the point in walking around in shame and you're choosing to do it? That means if you shame, that means you feel like you shouldn't be doing that. So then I would ask myself, then why shouldn't I be doing it? Then that's how you get deeper. Why shouldn't you be doing it? Is something going to happen? You know what it is. But I just want you to know, if you're going to do something, if you're going to be the other woman, be okay with being the other woman. Or if you're not going to be okay with it and you remain the other woman, you're going to walk around with shame. You're going to walk around with shame. So you got a decision to make. Either accept what you're doing or decide that you want to change. And so another one, this is almost the last one, it's about having the fear of loneliness. And so the statement is the pain of begging a man to stay to avoid loneliness. The pain of begging a man to stay to avoid loneliness. Is there anything else you put with this? Um, I don't think so. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that was it. That's why I wasn't up here. But yeah, I understand the pain. You probably, yeah, I understand that. I've been there before, um, long time ago. And because that's like even how I knew it was taking away my dignity, my own self-respect. Because this man ain't the only man in the world, first of all. There's billions of men in the world, right? And in this situation, you got to tell yourself out loud, you got to speak against that lie to let you know that you're not alone. Even if you feel lonely, you got to tell yourself, I'm not alone. In a world filled with billions of people, you're not alone. Okay. I know right now it might be hard to find a close connection, but first tell yourself, I'm not alone. I may be lonely right now, but I'm not alone. Okay. So stop that. That's a lie. You're not alone. But then start speaking to yourself. Speak life to yourself. I'm a higher stand. I'm of a high standard. Okay. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, and I ain't begging nobody. Even if you still begging somebody, you gotta speak life into you, because eventually your mind gonna match up with what's in your lips. Your mind gonna match up with what's coming out of your lips, and then your body gonna start matching up with what's going on in your mind. So really, easier said than done. You got to start speaking life into yourself so that it can raise your level of self-confidence. Because begging somebody, I can definitely understand how it's lowering your self-confidence and making you feel insecure, you know? So speak life into you. That's what I have to say. Speak life into you. And so the last one is discovering infidelity. This one was exactly as it says. You are ashamed of the trauma of your children finding out their father died with his mistress. Yeah, that's awful. Um, that's awful. That's awful. My dad died when I was younger, and I believe the way he died for a long time was hidden from me. Actually, I can't say I believe it. I know it, right? And I cried when I find out how, but at the same time, as I grew older, I can kind of understand why my mom didn't share that with me. So, you know, I'm sorry your children had to find that out. I really am. And that's awful. Especially if I don't want to even speak more on that, cuz I don't know the situation, but the whole thing is terrible. And like I tell anybody else who is ashamed of something, is many women who have gone through what you have gone through. It's children who have gone through what your children have gone through. And I'm not saying that to erase what happened. I'm saying that because there are support groups that can help you get through this. And I just want to thank you all for submitting your questions. Certain people said no, they didn't want to submit it because X, Y, and Z. They didn't want to share. Y'all don't have to share what you don't want to share. I am not asking for, I want you to get a chance to know me. If y'all gonna enter this group, y'all gotta know who y'all talking to, right? Y'all be posting stuff on Facebook. You don't even know who you're talking to. You don't know the heart of the person. I'm doing this so you can get the help that you need, so it can be a start, that somebody understand what you're going through. And the person who is, monitoring this group, she got some type of common sense. And so if you do not want to submit your questions, you don't have to. I want you to know that, right? You don't feel comfortable telling people what you're ashamed about. That's okay. Don't feel like you have to. But I do want to thank the people who did participate. I also want to thank my first uh, guest, Lesia, for allowing me to help her with talk therapy. That's all it is. We just talk. I hear her out and I give her some advice, and she feels better and empowered to move in the direction she knew she should have moved into. If y'all have not joined up for talk therapy, it's really just a healing conversation. If you need help with where the form is, just message me, Grace Forbes, and I will give you that information. It's also plastered all over the group. It's in the welcome message, it's in the intro, it's all over the place. But anyway, thank y'all so much for joining, and until next time, bye.